Ladies and gentlemen, the festivities are already starting because it's round 2 with the man that everybody is still talking about nearly a month later. You might even say it's the 3 faces of Chris. Well, what do I mean by that? Because right now, we're going to talk about the story more of Necro Daddy, Jake Carnage, and Chris Levett, and who knows what else in between. And alongside him is a man you might have seen once upon a time in a promotion that you see right there. But now you might want to call him good old KR. And who knows, he might even have a better job doing some commentary, not only than yours truly, who's going to be on the mic calling his first match later on tonight, New York time, this morning, UK time, but he might even do a better job at me on commentary later on in our interview. He's going to tell us why and some. But ladies and gentlemen, our guest need no further introduction, but because our guest here on the left is one of the most viewed interviews in Sportswire radio history, and the man next to him, I'm sure, is going to do the best job ever by anybody that does commentary and play-by-play on Sportswire radio history to the right. They have to get that introduction that everybody else has gotten. And because, well, he is one of the most viewed men in YouTube Sportswire radio history. So let's get right to it. So with without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one level sports show. The man Necro Daddy, Jake Carnage, Chris Levett, and good old KR. Let's give him that introduction simultaneously. Necro Daddy and good old Jake.
First of all, I just want to say one thing. Thank you very much for having myself on Sportswire Radio. And before we get to it, I just want to say your Adam's apple must be as big as New York City, because you have one hell of a voice. I will have to say that. First of all, I just want to say that it's been quite a while since I've done this, so you might have to just bear with me to it. But my name is Carl Wadunovich, and welcome to Sportswire Radio on this fantastic Friday evening. And as you can see right next to me, I have none other than the Necro Daddy right there, as you can see, if you can see it. Jake Carnage. Now, I hope you don't mind, Tom Bryce.
Yes.
On this Sportswire Radio show, I know obviously you do a lot of the questions, but on this one, I'm wanting to ask a couple of the questions, if that's okay with you.
It's your show. I can, maybe I can give you the microphone permanently, and you can run Sportswire. Especially if the guy that had snow up his butt that they used to refer to as the former owner of Ben. So I'm sure he would love to certainly. Here's the microphone, and I'll just retire.
No, it did snow a couple of weeks ago, but anyway, like I said before, I will just say one thing.
He was a snowflake, by the way. It was kind of like him, almost like a snowflake.
Pretty much. But ladies and gentlemen, so we've got right here, and ladies and gentlemen was my catchphrase back in the day. So basically, I want to introduce to you, so your introduction was okay, but unfortunately, your introduction wasn't quite as good as my introduction. Okay, so
let's go right to it.
Is none other than, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the man that started professional wrestling in 2014. He's a man with muscles in places more than I've even got places. Ladies and gentlemen, He is the Necro Daddy himself, Jake Carnage. And Jake Carnage, my first question to you, Jake, is as you can see right behind me, we have the UK wrestling logo. And of course, we talk a lot about UK wrestling, but UK wrestling was the first place that you came to professional wrestling. So my question to you is what made you go from that guy who just literally has his full-time 9-to-5 job into wanting to be Jake Carnage?
Well, Carl, it's so good to be on the airways with you, my brother. We were the original UKW commentary team. All right, we hosted UKW, and we were a missed opportunity. But one man didn't miss that opportunity. One man had the perspicacity, had the intelligence to see it, and that was the Reverend Tom Bryce. And it's put us back on the air where we belong. And the reason I went to UKW, I touched on it the first time, I needed somewhere to belong, my friend. And for whatever sick reason, whatever is wrong with me mentally, I chose professional wrestling. And because I didn't drive at the time, I went to the local company. The local company happened to be UK Wrestling. And I will tell you, and listen, it's a spectrum, right? As far as the last show was concerned, the drunkenness was over here. I'm here because gin is so much stronger than beer. And I could actually finish my sentences today somewhat, which is dangerous. And it's a problem for some people. Then I might want to get that shovel out and bury. But I've got to tell you about UK wrestling, first of all. I wanted to believe in UK wrestling. I wanted to believe in this man. I wanted to believe in Jonathan Sedgwick. I wanted to believe this man had everything that I wanted in life. He wanted to make me a star, but I got to tell you, right off the back, rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. But I'm going to give it, oh my God, because this guy right here, I never had a personal problem with him, but the guy, he wanted to make himself the main event. It's a story that's told and told again.
Yep.
And it is the rampant narcissism that dominates professional wrestling in general. And hey, narcissism isn't a bad thing. We've all got an ego, right?
Sure.
We've all got an ego. We all want to be stars. We want to be something. We want to be something that we're not in everyday life. We want to be larger than life. But Jonathan Sedgwick and people like that, as far as I'm concerned, the ego is misplaced. The ego is completely unwarranted. And everything was about him, right? I touched on it before, the amount of talent that went through there. And I have to say one thing, that good old KR is in full gimmick right here, right? And we're going to cover a lot, I'm sure, Reverend Bryce. You know, we're going to cover a lot in wrestling, psychology-wise. Listen, I know what I know because I listen to who I listen to. But this guy could connect with people, right? Because wrestling is about, like any combat sport, like anything really in entertainment, it's about selling personality. And this guy, Karl Radunovic, the broadcast legend, good old KR himself, had more personality in the little finger than British wrestling, most British wrestlers out there combined, right? He could have reached out and he could have meant something to people. But instead, we had the usual same old with UKW. And I'm sorry for the long answer to the question.
No, it's your show tonight.
Don't worry about it. Listen, brother, I just want to say off the top, we appreciate the chance, and I'm speaking for both of us here. We appreciate the chance to tell our story because we went through that wild world of pro wrestling and we came out the other side and we're having some fun, drinking some beers. We've got the drinking game tonight, all right? And we're going to get started on that.
That's going to be good. I listen, you know, I just want to say one thing real quick, and I appreciate that. And, you know, your story, unfortunately, is told all too often, not just in British independent wrestling, but even stuff that I hear in all forms of wrestling. I hear the usual politics, and somebody, opens up a promotion, they book themselves the champion, or they don't book the people to groom, to grow, and eventually get their calling. And unfortunately, it's a sad tale of nepotism. It's a sad tale of somebody with, like you said, an ego. There's ego, but then there's ego of, let's say, continuing almost like Groundhog Day. And it's a sad thing that continues to happen. I even hear these stories in the quote unquote backyard wrestling of promoters or quote unquote those who get a yard and buy a ring and decide that, they're going to make themselves the champion or make their ideas. And, it's a sad tale that's told all too often. I think, like you said, wrestling to me should be a sport that brings people together. Wrestling should be a sport where we can get away from all the stuff in the world, whether it's just with war, whether it's the economy, whether it's just quality of life, whatever it might be. But yet people decide to kind of, put them and a handful of their friends in the certain spots and kind of take two talent that should have been in better places, but they're here on Sportswire, so it all works out. So, gentlemen,
it all works out, brother. This is exactly. Listen, whatever happened with wrestling, as far as I'm concerned, Chris Levett, this is the real guy talking to you. Karl Radunovic, all right, we're exactly where we're meant to be in life. Okay, and one thing that I couldn't quite finish my sentences last time because I was too drunk. But I'm just, do remember that was the dangerous thing tonight, Reverend Bryce.
Yes, sir.
When I testify with you tonight, I'm just drunk enough to tell the truth.
Oh,
and I want to tell all these pro wrestlers, all these dreamers, right? Wrestling is a magnet for dreamers. We were dreamers.
Sure.
This guy watched nothing but wrestling, right? He assimilated Triple H. Right, all these people went into him, and he was. Listen, here's the thing: there's so many layers to wrestling.
With short hair, remember?
Yeah,
remember he used to take the chair shot. It was like self at the hair, back there, short hair.
I watched your match, by the way. Good old KR. I watched your match against Mr. Sedgwick, and you did a great job in terms of your ring psychology. You did a great job in terms of trying to work the kind of crowd to kind of get the crowd in a certain way, and you even kind of stopped the match at times to kind of, in a way, sell for your opponent. So, I mean, in terms of your ring skills, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, certainly, yes, you might be certainly better than JR at the moment, because JR, unfortunately, is grilling himself, and he's, kind of past his prime at the moment.
Yeah, there's that as well.
He's past his prime. I mean, his podcast, even, he struggles to do that these days. But, you certainly did some things in your own right, and maybe we should turn it over to hear some things about you, because you can clearly do a far better job on commentary than me. So obviously, I'm sorry I didn't have the Oklahoma music for you. He played
it as it walked in. The UKW. They walked in the UKW control center tonight, playing the JR music.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, as I will just say one thing, is that, like, in terms of like my wrestling career and what I had, I mean, I will say one thing is that it was, the thing is, when I started out professional wrestling back in 2010, it was, I was very young back then, and learning from these other people to try and like grasp, what professional wrestling was like. Because obviously, as someone young, as you know, you watch it on TV and you think to yourself, you know what, I want to try that one day. I want to give that a go. And the thing is, it was just the story on how I got into professional wrestling was the year was 2007, and it was a summer's day, and I actually went into a town which was only a couple of miles away from where I live, and it was a wrestling shop, and the owner of the wrestling shop actually owned UK wrestling, and that's how I kind of got involved. And I started out doing like color commentary, like doing the commentary for the wrestling, and so that's what I was doing. So that's basically how I kind of like got into the role of like professional wrestling. And then the thing is, like, I was doing training as well, so I was training.
You trained me?
I did, yeah, I did train you.
I mean, that's a story.
Everything I don't know.
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, I trained this guy right here, so like I did professional training as well, and and that's how I kind of got into it, and And the thing is, like, you know, I remember doing an angle once with this one guy who's still wrestling now, Liam Lazarus.
Liam Slater.
Liam Slater.
Yeah, I know Leon Slater. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, sorry, Liam Slater.
Liam, I still know Liam. I've heard the name.
Slater boys. And I gave them that idea, by the way, through the wrestler who can't be named. Carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so I had this pie match with Liam Slater.
Oh, the pie match.
Yeah, I remember the pie match. And I will say one thing: is it felt really good to get a plate full of pie and shove it right in that guy's face.
What kind of pie was it?
It was just a cream pie.
Okay.
So the pie.
No. So what you're telling me is live on Sportswire, baby.
I creamed him.
You cream pie.
I did.
Well, I think some people who might watch this might cream in other places about you guys being on the air. But
I literally aimed right for the face. I aimed right for his face.
That's not usually where I see the cream pie.
Well, that's exactly where it was.
Oh, man.
And what I did is I smeared it right in. And then... what are you laughing at? I'm trying to... So I smeared it right in. And then I ended up getting the victory. And you know what? In fact, I got the victory before I actually pied the guy, which was weird. which was really weird. But anyway, enough of that story. So
it was a great match. If you go back and see that match was awesome.
I should have watched that instead of the Sedgwick match that you had, or the promos with Mustafa Khan. I mean, I know well. I mean, I should have.
Listen, Mustafa Khan. You know, he's a guy that I've got a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
He's you know, like in terms of personality, he has got a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been in the wrestling world for nearly 20 years now is in fact really impressive. And at the end of the day, I've got nothing but respect for the guy.
It's always impressive when people stick with it. And look, hey, I'm on playing around with Jonathan Sedgwick. I have nothing against him. It's the ideology, right? And this is where I bring up my divisive political opinions. I'm kidding. I don't do that.
It's your show. Listen, I always tell people I had somebody come on the show with a gun on the air. So after that, it's like there's nothing you could really do at this point.
Told me that story, man. And like as far as it goes, right? Look, nothing against Jonathan Sedgwick. I'm playing around, cutting promos and stuff. The idea. Do you need a piss?
No. You just carry on.
Sorry, asshole. So it's the idea. Okay, it's tonight. It's the Necro Daddy and Carl's ass.
Something tells me that
Why have you got that?
Something tells me that a guy that used to own a company with 3 initials, that has 3 initials, probably would have had a segment on Monday Night Raw with that at one point. But obviously, I digress.
Hey, listen. I mean, if you want to like get the temperature of wrestling, go from the top, right? Get the idea, and the owner of the biggest company in the world happened to be.
Come out, you rapist!
I don't know if he's got some
That's
kind.
Him.
Listen,
That's him.
Listen, Will, it certainly is, and he's got some kind of weird sex dementia.
Yeah, I was listening to Jim Cornette talk about this of all people, and I didn't even know half the story before I say hello to people. We'll come to that, but I was even hearing that this girl could have been 21 years old. I see, by the way, we'll come back to that. And, apparently she didn't have a job or something, and her parents were losing their house, and basically he was taking this woman and kind of using her off to other employees, and it seemed like one of those employees was a guy that had one initial with B, the other one with L, and it's a whole lot.
There's a limited number of UFC heavyweight champions who've been in WWE, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't think it was Ronda Rousey. Right?
I don't know about that one. Yeah,
Look, as far as it's concerned with him, he is. He's going to be one of history's great monsters, okay? Because and it trickled, like the whole thing, the whole paradigm of wrestling is interesting because it all runs essentially on a form of exploitation, and that is because promoters always take more than they give, which is why to any wrestler that's listening to this, I'll reach out to you, whether you like me or not. All right, I'll reach out to you, and hey, if I'm giving you stick on the internet or I'm giving you stuff, right? Listen, I don't hate you. I have nothing particularly against you, right? If I'm giving you stick on the internet, it's because you need to toughen up. right? Me and him, we used to beat the crap out of each other. On a weekly basis, we would just kick the crap out of each other. And that's how you get tough. And not only just physically, we would roast the hell out of each other. Not like that. No more double entendres on this episode because it's a family-friendly show, right? But the thing is, we will give each other crap. And when I was quite a sensitive boy, and I learned, I became quite callous to that. So if I'm giving you stick on the internet, right, take it for what it's worth. All right, toughen up. Okay, be a pro wrestler. And listen to this more than anything. Always take more than you give, especially when it comes to promoters, because they will take and take and take until there's nothing left. And the top of the food chain was Vince McMahon. And he took, all right, he took a dump on someone's head. Okay.
He did.
And you don't get much.
He did.
And I'm not laughing because he was a sex trafficker.
Horrible,
right?
yeah.
But that's the apex of how you can degrade a human being. Okay. And that's what he did. And this young girl, like you said, Reverend Bryce, this young girl, she was down on the luck. And this powerful man took over. And he exploited the hell out of her, right? He's going to do time, man. That guy is going to jail. And it becomes...
He's going to die in jail. Yeah, I mean, I was reading pretty much.
It becomes an interesting thing as to whether or not this... Dutch Mantel said it, right? The greatest heel you've ever seen on screen was Vince McMahon because you want to punch that guy, right? Yep. He was, but how much, and again, how much do you separate the artist from the art, right? How much of Vince McMahon... Was that the real guy?
Well, Jim Cornette was saying the same thing on his podcast, and he was saying those same questions. But I have people that want to say hello to you guys. I actually have some people that would like to say hello. So let me make sure I can tell them.
We'd like to say hello back. We'd like to give them a big hug and a kiss because we're sensitive boys.
Well, speaking of people, first of all, we have a young lady in New York City. Her name is Jules, the lovely Jules.
Hello,
how you doing, Jules? Hello, gentlemen. I want to say hello, first of all, to my very good buddy in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Maybe you guys, I might have an announcement for about that, so stay tuned toward the end of the show. Kind of a cheap plug there. It's James Taylor, the Nemesis. By the way, he has a podcast. He's got 103,000 followers. And James Taylor, the Nemesis Sessions, what you should do, in addition to interviewing the Tribal Cheese Logan, you should interview good old KR, Necro Daddy Jay Carnage, a.k.a. Chris Levett, because if you really want to expand that TikTok following, that YouTube following that you have in the 100,000s, you need to bring on the two most explosive men in UK wrestling. Let me repeat. You got to bring on the two most explosive men. The two men, you want to talk about pipe bombs? You want to talk about CM Punk shooting pipe bombs? You want to talk about anybody else? You talk about that press conference last week? Oh, that was really a pipe bomb or two. Now, pales into comparison on what you could see on the Nemesis Sessions with you, James Taylor, and good old KR, Necro Daddy Jay Carnage, a.k.a. Chris Levett. So let me do you the honors in reaching out to these guys. And very simply, here's how you're going to reach out to them. I got it for you right here. In fact, I even pulled up their Instagram page for it. Necro Daddy JC, Carl Radunovich, RADUNVICKARL, just like BINGO. Bingo was his name, but bingo, you're in the right place tonight on Sportswire Radio. These guys, I promise you, will give you video like you've never seen before, and they'll be a lot more informative than some guys you've seen in the yard and anybody else you might have heard of. You want to say something, sir?
No, I was just saying that the thing is, it's a weird story that I want to kind of like mention.
Sure.
You see, me and the Necro Daddy, aka Chris Levett, we actually met through professional wrestling. And
sorry, bro, I just had to work.
All right, it's cool.
Take care of a little business.
No worries.
Were you taking a dump on Tommy Dillon's run in NSAR and UKW?
Oh yeah, well I mentioned about that in a minute, but first of all, I just want to mention first of all is that the thing is, in terms of professional wrestling, like the terms wrestling in 2024 equals to the word dead. But what I will say, is that from the past experience that I've had in professional wrestling, is that I thank wrestling because I've met this guy right here. Well, because the thing is the thing is, back in 2014, when this guy walked through the door and I was training professional wrestling, I looked at this guy and I was teaching him and I was showing him and I was showing the ropes, and he didn't get it to start with. But trust me, he got there.
The only thing athletic about me was my feet at that point in my life.
But Tom, listen. I just say one thing.
Say anything you want.
Now, when I went back to the fact that wrestling in 2024 and the word dead, like, I didn't mean it in that kind of like quick ball point. Sure. But what I will say is like, in terms of like professional wrestling now, is you get these people that watch wrestling online and they think, oh, well, I can run a promotion without any experience. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And the thing is, you get these people that, look up to, oh, well, I enjoy wrestling so much. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this promotion and I'm going to put these matches on, but I've got no experience in what I'm doing. And that's the reason why we're getting promotions like, I don't know, like TNT, for example.
Oh, well, there's 2 TNTs in British wrestling.
I know that. There's TNT, Ignition.
Well, there is the good TNT, and then there is the crap TNT.
And by the way,
TNT, well, I have to say the TNT that I think you're referring to, the good one, is where my buddy RPD has been a major standout. I'm pretty sure that's the TNT you referred to. Yep.
Legit guy.
You see,
yes.
You see, in terms of wrestling, like, you see, like, first of all, to be a wrestler, you have to have that connection to the audience. So in that way, especially being a babyface, you need, when you are a babyface, you need to make sure that when you walk out to the audience, that audience instantly that quick is onto you. They believe that you can win that fight. If you die at the start of the match, like Jonathan Sedgwick, for example,
he's the king of dying.
He's the
king of dying.
Listen, I'm being dead serious now.
Listen, this guy that some people refer to, kind of like a Vince McMahon in terms of things outside the ring that he may have been in trouble for, allegedly. So yeah, that's that name.
You see, let me just go back to that point. Like, I'm not putting any disrespect to Jonathan Sedgwick there, but like, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is like, as a babyface, the key is to make sure the crowd is always hyped and wanting to win the match. That is the key to a babyface and a good guy in a wrestling match. You see, the heel, for argument's sake, which is a bad guy, he's the guy which is trying to make the crowd hate him in terms of like wanting you to believe that he is going to beat up the babyface to the point where the babyface can't come back in the match, where the heel's going to win. And that's where the good guy comes back, and he's the one that, overcomes the odds. And I'm not going to say going to win the match. I'm just saying that he's going to, he's going to get the crowd back into it. You see, I watched a match and on UKW, and I remember when I watched that match,
who was in it?
It was Jonathan. It was actually, and no disrespect to Mustafa Khan. Mustafa Khan, fantastic guy.
Yeah, but I've watched him in the ring. He wrestled Jack Johnson a few years ago. I've watched his work outside.
Yeah, well, Mustafa Khan, it was Mustafa Khan and Jonathan Sedgwick. And the problem was, it wasn't really Mustafa Khan. It was more of the fact that Jonathan Sedgwick he didn't have any fire in that match, which kind of like, it killed him at the start, and he didn't really get back in. And the problem there is, it's like, and that's just an example. It's like, as a babyface, you have to connect to the crowd and believe that to the crowd that you can overcome the person that stood in front of you. And the thing is, and like I said before, I might feel like I'm rambling a little bit here, but
no, it's your show tonight. A lot of people are tuning in.
You see, it's like personality. Let me put it this way, right? I'm gonna give you what I'm gonna do right now. Is first of all, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want that in my hand. So what I'm going to do right now,
is that toilet paper for you?
Well, to be honest, I actually had to clear out at work earlier, but
well,
Blackwell, baby.
So basically, let me just say, Oh, he's gone. You see,
Another one bites the dust.
I do know that one as well, and I feel like going.
Good too.
Anyway, but listen to this, right? Tom Bryce,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mr. Sportswire guy.
Yes, sir.
I will say
King
one
of
thing.
Sportswire
He
himself.
is.
I don't know about that, but go ahead.
You're the man.
Let me just go back to what we're saying. So basically,
Absolutely.
so basically, what the point is, what I'm trying to get over is like, in terms of wrestling. There you go. In terms of wrestling, you have these promotions where they feel like, where you feel like they have to do 50,000 moves to get over.
Yep.
But then you've got promotions where the music hits and they're instantly over.
Yeah.
So, so what I'm trying to get, what I'm basically trying to get the point over is that you don't need to do a backflip on your entrance to get over. If the crowd believe you as a character, you will instantly be over.
I know exactly who you're talking about with that as well.
Yeah, listen.
We call that show
Dipping
Jimmy Jacobs.
I don't know what the hell that is, but I will say one thing.
He's a good guy.
He's good. Okay, well, if you say he's a good guy, he's a good guy. But anyway, what I'm saying, hey, listen, Mr. Tom Bryce, the point what I'm trying to get over is that without an audience, you have no match. That is simple. So, for example, I'm not trying to disrespect Blackheart on this one, as we've been flashing around the Blackheart cans. But yes. I have watched, and to be honest, like, you know, I have watched a bit of the Blackheart matches. And
Blackheart, it's a good product. I want to say it's certainly
the great guy.
Yeah, listen.
I've spoken to him off the air. He's a very nice guy.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The first Freudian slip of the evening.
I say I've got no respect. No, what I'm saying is, what the hell?
Yes, well, maybe you should come back to that Oklahoma.
I will say one thing. I will say one thing. Well,
I'm trying to get a payday, baby.
Listen, I'm only joking. The guys are okay.
The good guys.
Apart from Shelby. But the guys are okay.
I know what you're talking about. Right. No comment. No comment. I'm saying nothing on that. Move on. I know who you refer to. Move on.
Anyway, listen. So what I'm saying is, like, in terms of like Blackheart itself, like, I've got no problem whatsoever with anybody that wrestles for Blackheart. There's nothing wrong. Everyone's sound. They're all nice people. But the problem is they're putting their matches on YouTube with no audience.
Yeah, that's a big negative, to be honest. It's like, I think this is a Raven quote, right? So you can have Shakespeare in front of no people, and it's still Shakespeare.
Well, that's why. Listen, in the COVID era, right, when all these companies were doing stuff with no fans, it was like watching. Like, I don't know how to kind of relate, and you need that in music. They use the term call and response. I have a lot of people that want to say hello to you, and I'd like them to say hi.
Oh,
so, speaking of, by the way, speaking of promoters that actually we like on Sportswire Radio, Mr. James Barris. You know, Mr. Barris, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you how to do anything, but you know, if you were ever looking for a commentary team for CCW, I think these would be the two guys that you might want to consider. Now, again, you're James Barris. You know, you're obviously a Hall of Famer on this platform. But if there was a way, Mr. Barris, that you could figure out to get a commentary team, kind of almost like the King and JR used to be, because we got JR and Necro Daddy. He is kind of the king of carnage. I mean, that would be a good idea.
By the way. But it's not JR. It's KR.
No, we did commentary.
I was actually kind of saying, if you heard my blast point, kind of like the King and JR, kind of referring to KR and Necro Daddy almost. We're kind of giving you that kind of, you know, comparison. So that was more of my point. Mr. Barris wants to say the face's job is to get the heel frustrated. Yes, absolutely. I want to say hello to my buddy Cameron Cage. Cameron's become one of my favorites recently. He wrestles out of Tennessee. How you doing? By the way, not too far from where JR lives in Oklahoma, but KR is in the UK. So you know what, Cameron Cage, good to be with you once again. Want to say also hello to our friend once again, Radu.
Radu, how you doing,
my friend? Nice to see you. He's knocking back a can of Red Stripe to this one.
I went through the doors. He's the guy that threw me through the door. Oh, Radu. Listen. Hey, sorry, brother. Sorry. One second on this one, right? Radu Bulat is up there to me, and I wrestled him. I had what I call my best match as far as I can remember with Radu Bulat. I think the guy has the look. I think he has
You
the
said that last
mentality.
time on the show. Yep.
Yeah, the guy. I think he's just one of the most underrated guys in the UK right now. He has the hunger for it as well. He wants to get a bit out there, and he deserves it. He wants it. And once again, I'm joined by Carl's ass, which.
Sorry, I do apologise.
It's certainly making a number of appearances
in the
tonight.
set. How are they going to know we're in the UKW Control Center if we don't have the...
Tom Bryce, I'm just going to the toilet. Give me a minute.
You got it. You got it, KO.
Don't
Good
wipe
on
your
KO.
ass with my sign!
Take your time. Take all the time you need.
All right, okay. Listen, I went to a lot of trouble to procure that sign. And hey, listen, as far as Radu Bulat's concerned, he's a great guy. You know, he has the look. He has the presentation. And the thing is, like Carl was mentioning with, you know, what you want on a card, right? As far as the babyface and the heel goes, you know, you want difference on a card to me.
Absolutely.
You know, listen, this is one of the... I hate to constantly whinge about the British scene.
No, something I know a lot about. No, not at all.
The thing is, I want them to be good. I want British wrestling to be good. I want it to mean something. And I believe that, listen, when you watch WWE, part of the reason why the undercard is so difficult to watch is because everyone is so homogenous, right? You should embrace that difference.
Well, Hogan used the line that a lot. Well, Hogan's line was, he said this on a podcast a year or two ago, is that many of the wrestlers that go into WWE, it's like a factory line. There's a factory line of everybody. It's kind of like they all look the same. They're all programmed to be the same. So there's no like creativity. There's no originality. Also in WWE, a lot of people now, they don't go out there and say, okay, you have the mic, go do something with it. No, it's like, here's your script, Mrs. or Mr. Go out there and read it. And that's it. So that's why what you're saying, when you have a lot of the same type of people, the same type of instances, that your middle of the card becomes so difficult at times. And obviously we see here good old KR's return with his butt.
His return. This should have been advertised as the Necro Daddy and Carl's ass on Sportswire Radio.
Maybe we would have sold more people to tune in. I don't know. But...
listen, you might get an audience, but it might not be the audience that you're looking for.
Well, we'll take any audience at this point, but go ahead.
Hey, audience is audience, right?
You see that?
That's it.
Is that right?
This is like, you know, as an American, as a proud American, when they hang the American flag upside down, it means one thing. It means distress. It means that there is chaos. It means that there is a problem.
Well, I think it's like any flag with the
brother,
Well,
they hung the UKW flag upside down, which means...
Let me put it this way. It's upside down and it's inside out, baby. I'll say one thing.
I swear that was a song.
I think so, maybe. Sorry, Tom Bryce.
Yes, good old KR.
Let's go back to the serious head.
Yes, good old KR.
Yeah. So basically, so I just want to... I hope you don't mind, Mr. Necro Daddy.
Please, brother.
My story. I like to show the Necro Daddy some respect, but I'm not going to get my hands and knees and give him the bow down. But he's a good guy. But what I will say is, in terms of like me wrestling, I started out. So basically, how it happened for myself is I ended up going to Ossett, West Yorkshire, which was a couple of miles away from where I live. And there was a wrestling shop there, and the owner
it was the wrestling and the wait, Reverend Bryce, we have to explain this because it was the wrestling / mobility scooter shop. It was. Are you familiar with a mobility scooter? It is. I don't know the difference.
I remember that time when I had to clean Mr. Balls' bum. That was terrible. That was worst time.
I'm no selling this, man.
It won't go. Well, but anyway,
whose bum did you clean?
Mr. Balls. But anyway, listen.
You cleaned Mr. Balls' bum.
Let's get back to wrestling.
What the hell does that mean?
Let's go back to wrestling for a minute. So anyway, Tom Bryce. So basically, I ended up going to this wrestling shop. This was in June 2007. and I ended up meeting this guy who I believe Jake kind of just ripped into pieces. This guy right here. So I'm going to and by the way, before I say anything else, don't you dare tread on damn kick pads. But anyway, so
he's a 6-time trash bagger.
So I ended up meeting this guy who owned the wrestling shop, which was in Ossett, and I ended up coming to that shop a couple of times, and I ended up interacting with this guy. And at the time, I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Sedgwick, who obviously is the owner of UKW.
Yep.
And who did own this shop.
I think I spoke to him once off the record. We had one.
He's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
One conversation, and I don't think anything else.
The thing is, I met this guy at that wrestling shop, and 3 years later, he ended up holding his first ever wrestling show called WrestleBration, which I do remember the date. It was July 12, 2009, which is crazy to think that I can think of that.
Doug Williams on that show.
Doug Williams was not on that show.
Doug Williams was on one show.
He was on one show. WrestleBration. The main event of WrestleBration.
I think he announced his retirement a second time. We'll see if.
Well, and Mr. Bryce.
He should have retired before that.
I know it's your radio show, Mr. Bryce. Mr. Bryce, I know it's your radio show. You're good, but I'm just that one step better. Let me just explain, Mr. Bryce. So, WrestleBration, July 12, 2009, was the main event, was Kevin Thorne, who they brought over from...
Oh, it was Kevin Thorne!
Yeah, it was Kevin Thorne.
Oh, man!
Kevin Thorne
versus... Chicken Shack.
It was Kevin Thorne versus...
Kevin Thorne, didn't he play that, quasi Undertaker character in the East?
Mordecai.
Can I just say quickly, Mr. Bryce, because you've unfortunately interrupted me on that one.
No, man!
But I will say, don't worry, because I have respect for you,
so much.
I will forgive you. Now, one thing I will say is the main event of WrestleBration was Kevin Thorne versus a man who... He's laughing. It was
doing that real great. It was tail. Football outfit. Okay, it was our mate Dale. Let me finish this. It was Kevin Thorne, right? Okay, so again, this is another thing with British wrestling. It's the imports, right?
Yeah.
And so Kevin Thorne wandered up to UKW, all right, and he got hold of Jonathan Sedgwick, and he made Jonathan Sedgwick stop at the chicken. I'm so sorry, and so Kevin,
I'm steaming up. I need some whiskey and wipers on my glasses.
Kevin, this is a legit shoot. Kevin Thorne says, "Yeah, man, I'll do a match for you." And our mate Dale, he chokeslammed him in about a second.
He did.
Dale had been 2 minutes. Dale, by the way, Alec Michaels, one of the massively underrated talents on the British scene. He was athletic beyond belief. The two, apart from us and the people that they wasted, Leon Slater, Jet Marshall, wrestler who can't be named, and us, there was Alec Michaels who wrestled. He wrestled every main event. Again, we have the same curse that a lot of British wrestlers had. Our matches were never filmed, right? So a lot of what we did,
matches were filmed.
He was filmed. He was filmed, right?
You're going a minute. Don't tread on pads.
He was filmed.
He's not filmed no more now because we don't have him.
He was filmed more than David Attenborough films Wildlife, right? That guy might as well have been 24 hours a day filmed his life. Okay, so anyway, Kevin Thorne turned up and he said, "I'll do a match for you," and he chokeslammed our mate Dale, right? Big old chokeslam, and then he went and sold his merch, all right. And they were selling those Kevin Thorne t-shirts for years afterwards, right? And this is it, how wrestlers will hoodwink promoters and sell them a bullet goods. So,
can I just say quickly? I will say one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. My friend right here, my brother Chris Levett, fantastic guy. I don't know what you said, but you're a fantastic guy. But I will say
I am
one thing.
fantastic. That is true.
He is. One thing I will say, Kevin Thorne, he ain't cheap. He charged my friend Ellis Barker £10.
That's the wrestler who can't be named. Ellis said we can't mention Ellis.
He did charge Ellis Barker
specifically
£10
said that.
to have a photo with Kevin Thorne. It was back on July. Ellis Barker was only a kid, by the way, back then.
Yeah, 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years
He
ago.
was only 13. So I think
He's a
so.
serious pro wrestler. You can't say this.
He is. He's a serious pro wrestler. But back then, he really loved Kevin Thorne. So he wanted, listen.
We all did.
He did, yeah. He wanted a photo from Kevin Thorne. So Kevin Thorne charged him, what was it now? About £20.
Listen,
it was a lot of money anyway.
The real word
it was
that comes in, right?
A lot of money for a
very
Kevin Thorne
expensive.
autograph, because I that's the first time I've heard of Kevin Thorne in like since then, 2009, really.
Well, the thing is, Kevin Thorne's a total waste. But I will say, I'll say he's, he's all right. He's okay.
He sells what do they? No. Well, like all the wrestlers do in America when they do real tour, right? Is that they when they sell? Cheers, brother. When they finish wrestling, he sells houses and such. But that's all by the by. So that was Carl's introduction to wrestling. Was that amazing story of the wrestler who can't be named buying Kevin Thorne?
I have a lot of people that want to talk to you. Let me get to them.
Please.
Comments.
Yeah, of course.
Tribal Cheese wants to point out too many wannabe tough guys in wrestling that need a proper slap at the end of the day. It's the Hurt Business. I heard of that group before at once upon a time. And thank you, Tribal Cheese, for tuning in. We definitely acknowledge you.
We love the chat. Hey, listen, shout out to the chat Tribal Cheese today, man. That guy did 1,000 kettlebell swings. You know, we played the whole time. He did 1,000 kettlebell swings. He does so much for like charity and all that stuff. He's a great guy. He's a really good guy. The CCW guys, like I mentioned on the show before, right? They got a bad deal because
1,000% a bad deal. 1,000%.
Because they got castigated for having a death match in front of kids, right? Okay, listen. And I love the way that they put it. They did the crime, they did the time, okay? They got the bad publicity from it. But like you've mentioned, Reverend Bryce, they do a lot for the community. And the CCW guys, I'd love to go up in the summer. I want to take on them all. I know Nate Sawyer, right? He's mentioned before, me and him getting in the ring. Nate Sawyer, I'm happy to get in the ring with you, brother. All right. This Leatherface character you're putting out there, right? You want to talk about horror movies? You don't scare me, brother. All right, I know exactly who you are, and I'll see through that Leatherface mask, and I'll take you to your limit. I'll make you sweat like you've never sweat before. That sounded a bit fruity, but I didn't mean it. I mean, I'm talking. I'll bring something out of you. All right, I'll bring something out that you've never had before. I'm gonna hit CCW in the summer when the weather's nice. I'm taking the family up there. As I mentioned before, I am a conservative. I am a family man. I am the necro daddy. I am the real thing. I'm a walking reality check. I'm the human trigger warning. You've never seen anything like me. I'll get in that CCW ring. Anybody that they put across from me, you know what? Pack a lunch because this is going to be a long shift, baby. You know, I'm going to take you out there. And the CCW guys, just before we get to the good brother right here, the CCW guys, they're working class guys. They do a lot for the community. I believe in the CCW guys because I feel like, honestly, I mean this from my heart, that we've met, me and him, we've met so many people, right? From the people that I've been to court and I've got one serving time in armed jail because I believed in him, but he turned out to be something that he wasn't, right? He turned something disgusting. That we've encountered a lot in British wrestling, all right? And we've encountered a lot of people that are in wrestling. You know, Jonathan Sedgwick, Joshua Snow. I don't even want to mention that little turd, right?
He's a snowflake.
These people, all right, these people are a cancer on British wrestling. I'd love to take it back. I love wrestling, right? I know I push buttons and I know I provoke people, but I love wrestling and I'd love it to be something better. And just on 1 second, brother, the CCW guys are in it for the right reasons. They're working class lads, right? That put themselves out there, that do things for the community, and that do it all for the right reasons. And hey, I'm up there. I want to go up there in the summer when the weather's a little nicer. I can get in my Kia Picanto with my family, right? Hey, listen, I ain't a millionaire, right? And nobody's going to be a million. Look, all you young wrestlers, right? You think you're going to be a big star. Listen, what you're going to learn from wrestling is you might find something out about yourself, okay? You might find out who you are. You might push yourself further than you ever before. I wrestled the Knight Brothers, all right, the most feared tag team in British wrestling. I wrestled them with a guy called Rex Savage, who is the strongest, and I think he's still a UKW somewhere. And listen, whenever we talk about UKW, let's not get this twisted. We are not picking on the people that wrestle there. We're picking on, as far as it goes, we're picking on the ideology, not the person, right? What underpins UKW is rotten to the core. What underpins UKW is anti-wrestling. They've never cared about wrestling, okay? They've never cared about the people that go in there and wrestle matches, all right? Rex Savage was a strong man, okay? The strongest person I was ever in the ring with. This is getting a little weird, right? This is Sportswire. This is what it's all about. We tell the truth on Sportswire. Sportswire is about the truth, okay? And you will learn something if you get in the ring with the likes of the Knight Brothers, okay? Paige, right? You know Paige?
Of course. I interviewed Disciple who wrestled. I'm trying to think which night it was. He wrestled. I'm trying to think. Wasn't Zach Knight. It was her father. Roy? I want to say it was. Yeah.
Okay. There's Roy and Zach were the UK hooligans, right?
Yep.
People would see listen. People would see their name on the card and they would mysteriously get sick, right? They were the baddest tag team going. And I stepped to them and Rex Savage stepped to them and we went in with respect and we give it 100%, okay? And I believe we earned their respect that day because we went in. They gave me the big finish at the end. Listen, I was a big boy, right? I was nearly like 260, 270. And I took that big doomsday device, right? Flipped that thing like Brian Knobs back in the day. and you know what I mean? And I knew I was going in and I knew I was going to get my ass kicked, but I knew it was going to mean something. And that's the problem with British wrestling these days, is that people aren't testing themselves, all right? When you've got everybody who's the same, who's putting each other over, right? The Enso boys, the fantasists, people like that, you know, people that was these skinny kids, all right? I'm not saying, hey, listen, not everyone has to be jacked up and bulked up and jacked and shooting the diagonal and all this stuff, right? Not that I'm doing that, I assure you. But the thing is, not everybody has to have the look, right? But people have to go in and they have to push themselves and they have to mean it, okay? And that's what me and this guy did. And the thing is, we did all that. And this is why we call out people like Jonathan Sedgwick, the Nas. See, he didn't wrestle the Knight Brothers. He wouldn't dare.
Listen,
I'm going to take a quick
quick
commercial break.
It's all right, don't worry. I'll jump in on you. You see, Tom Bryce, I will say one thing. You know, I've known Jake Carnage and the Necro Daddy, Chris Levett, for quite some time. And the thing is, you know, the thing with wrestling is you have to have that charisma. You have to have the drive. You have to have the belief that the audience has the connection to you. If you come out to the ring as like, you know, like this babyface who wanders out, but just wanders into the ring, people are not going to like, you know, they're not going to believe that you can win that match. They're going to be like, well, who's this guy? Where if you come out and have that drive towards the audience, they will have the belief. Now, the thing is, Necro Daddy was going on about it was going on a lot there. It was trying to go in-depth detail, as you know. You see, the thing is, I'm not burying you, don't worry. He's listening to me. But listen, but the thing is, I will say one thing, right? And I'm going to say this not just because he's my friend, not just because he's my brother, but I'm going to say this to him, is that he has the charisma in professional wrestling. He has the heart. Now, what annoys me is you've got these people that come out here to the ring and they've got no muscles. They've got weedy arms. They've got little skimpy pants. Right? Listen. They've got really skimpy pants, and they're just a Jero, right? So that's the problem. You see, the thing with professional wrestling is to be a wrestler, you've got to look like a wrestler. And in terms of looking like a wrestler, people will believe you're a wrestler. Let me take, for example, let me just say quickly. Let me take Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example. Now, I know obviously he's like WWE and but I'm just taking him as an example, right? You've got Stone Cold Steve Austin, Tom Bryce, Mr. Sportzwire guy.
Oh,
let me ask you a question. Say Monday Night Raw goes on this week, right? You've got an angle going on in the ring with two guys that that work in this era. All of a sudden, Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits. I'm going to ask you the question now. If you were watching that show, what would your first reaction be if Stone Cold Steve Austin, his music hits? Boom.
Natural reaction would be, holy fill in the blanks.
Right. So all of a sudden, you're 100 miles an hour. You're right there. Oh, my goodness me. Stone Cold, boom, he's right here. Oh, my God. But all what's happened is music hits. So he doesn't even have to be in the arena, and all of a sudden, he's got a pop. Right?
He's got the crowd in the palm of their hands without even doing a single thing.
And can I just say, do you know the reason why he's got the crowd in his hands? Right? Because people believe in his character. That is the reason why people are popping for him, even though he's not there. If I say, oh, well, guess what? Do you know professional wrestling? Oh, yeah, I know The Rock. I know Triple H. I know Stone Cold. People know these people in professional wrestling because they were over. Yeah?
Yep.
Now,
correct.
You've got people now in this day and age. See, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So, Tom Bryce. So, when Stone Cold came out to the ring, did Stone Cold ever, and this is not just including his entrance, in terms of in-ring as well, did you ever see Stone Cold hit a 450? No? Right, okay, listen. Did you ever see Stone Cold hit a shooting star press?
No,
right? So Stone Cold has not hit any of these like big maneuvers,
nope.
These top rope maneuvers, right? Can I ask you a question? Is Stone Cold Steve Austin in over £1 million or $1 million?
Is he? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he is.
Obviously.
Right? Do you know the reason why he's earning that much money? Because people believe in the character.
That's it.
There's a personal emotion to feel. The same way. Listen, Hogan would come out and he'd cup the hand, and it was the big boot, the leg drop, and the punch and kick. Stone Cold would come out and give me a hell yeah, throw the beers, kick, stunner, punch, kick, stunner, Luthez press. That was it. That was his gimmick.
Now, the thing is, now in terms of wrestling nowadays, people feel that wrestling is more of an acrobatic team.
Look at what happened to Jeff Hardy a couple of days ago in AEW. Young guy Sammy Guevara tries a move and nearly kills Jeff Hardy. I mean, everybody's got to have the highlight reel.
Hey, listen, bro. I'm not trying to disrespect the wrestlers that we're seeing nowadays, but what Tom Bryce, one thing I will say, because I'm going to say this now to you, and I want you to look into my eyes when I say this. I don't want you to sip that stupid drink, what you're drinking. I want you to look into my eyes, right? When I say this, my friend. Tom Bryce.
He's drinking a straight edge drink.
No, listen. Tom Bryce, listen. Look into my eyes, Tom, when I say this, right? Yeah, listen. Yeah, he's looking. My work colleague does not know anything about wrestling. But if I said Stone Cold Steve Austin, he would know what wrestling was. If I mentioned like somebody randomly on the indie scene, he would not know what I'm talking about. And at the end of the day, sorry for taking my glasses off and being a little bit stressful there. Sometimes I get a little bit redheaded. I don't mean to do. I just get a little bit fired up.
It's passion.
But
brother.
what I'm trying to say is, Tom, listen, I've got nothing but respect for you.
Oh yeah.
You're a fantastic person, and I really appreciate the fact that when I came on air, you know, you made out that I was a good character. You made out that you had a lot of respect for me, and that means a lot. It really does. And at the end of the day, I'm only trying to get my opinion over on professional wrestling on this current day. Now, let me just say quickly, right? You've got these promoters that have watched wrestling for years on end. For years on end, they've watched it and they've thought, you know what? I could do something like that. I could be a promoter for professional wrestling. But you see, they've not got that much experience. It's like getting a guy in for an engineering job that's working in retail. The man doesn't know what he's doing. It's kind of the same way. He's looked at the TV and thought, oh, well, I can do that. But it's not come out the same way as how it should do. You see, the thing is, let me just say quickly. I'm just putting.
You're making sense, brother.
I'm trying to, because the thing is, like with the Sportzwire radio, I've asked a lot of my work colleagues to tune in on this.
Oh yeah.
So there's quite a lot of people that I know that are listening.
Shout out Big Daz.
Oh, Big Daz, wagon driver.
How you doing, Big Daz? Thank you for tuning in, my friend.
Yeah, listen. But what I'm trying to say, Tom, is the key thing is about the Sportswire radio is to get the opinion of the person who you're talking to about. And the opinion is right here, is in terms of becoming a pro wrestler, here are the key points. You have to have the drive. You have to have the charisma. You have to have the crowd knowledge. And also, you have to have the belief that the audience believe in your character.
That's the key.
It's a key thing.
That's everything.
It is the key thing. Now, you get these people that come out and just wander out to the ring, get in the ring. I see you drinking when I'm talking to you.
Listen, we're all drinking, brother.
We're all drinking. And you know what, Tom Bryce, you know what? I'll be honest, because I respect you, you can have a drink on me. But the thing, what I'm trying to get, the point is, what I'm trying to get over is that there's these people out there that get in the ring and have no charisma, have no personality, and the crowd are dead. And that's the thing, what's annoying. And I'm not saying that to be an idiot. I'm not saying that to be a bit dickish.
No. I'm
saying that because that is my opinion. And the thing is, everybody else has got their own opinion. You may have a different opinion. Jake Carnage, Chris Levett, he may have a different opinion on me. But my opinion is that in terms of professional wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin was over because the crowd believed in the character. Oh, yeah. He didn't have to do pretty much anything. Soon as the glass split, the crowd was on it. If you've got some, say for example, you've got, and listen, let me just say quickly, right? And I'm not disrespecting Tommy Dillon because he's not done anything to upset me. But you have someone like Tommy Dillon walk out there with no figure, with the pregnant gut, right? Listen, I'm being serious now.
He does have a pregnant gut.
Right, listen, right? He wanders out and goes, that's wild card. That does not connect to the audience, right? The reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin was over was because when he said he was going to beat somebody up, the crowd believed he was going to do that. If you see Tommy Dillon in a back alley, listen. If you see Tommy Dillon in a back alleyway you're just going to walk past the guy and say, "How you doing, pal? Why have you got your pregnant belly out?" Right? Listen. It's like, listen, Tom Bryce. It's like Joshua Snow. Like, again, I've got nothing. Listen, I've got nothing against the guy.
Yeah, Dad.
Right? I've got nothing against the guy, but I will say one thing, and there's one thing that I'm going to say now. Right? I once came to a Blackheart show, and Joshua Snow was wrestling in one of the matches. Right? Now, being a guy in the audience, I felt like what he said to this certain kid was not acceptable. So basically, what he did, so the kid had some kind of like merchandise, and he stamped on the merchandise, and he was like, how do you feel now about that? Now, I understand that Joshua Snow was trying to get heat from the audience, but here's the thing. Do not take anything off of somebody that they have purchased. It's as simple as that. You do not. If somebody
need to do that.
No, you don't. You don't need to do that, right? You don't need to do that. In terms of getting heat off the audience, you have to first of all, be verbal and show mean eye contact. You don't need to grab a toy or anything that the person's purchased and pop it or destroy it in front of the face. That's not going to make that kid want to watch the rest of the show. It's going to put them off the show. It's going to. I remember, and listen, like I said, no disrespect to Joshua Snow, but I'm just going to tell you my opinion on this one. I remember seeing the adult see their child's face like totally like bubble up, get upset, and they walked out. And that's not how professional wrestling should be.
You have to be a heel people want to see.
Exactly. You can't go around.
That's the art.
You can't go around taking people's belongings and pop them or destroy them in front of the face, because people are not going to think, "Oh well, I really enjoyed you taking my personal property and just destroy it right in front of my face." Yeah. That's not what professional wrestling's about.
It's cheap.
It's about, listen, bro, it's about getting the heel reaction from the audience. Yeah. You know what I mean? You see, instead of taking something of someone's personal belongings, all you need to do is just tell them to shut up. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Just as easy as something like that.
Your demeanor can convey that you're a heel. All right. If you go out and you mean it, like this is the crux of everything we've ever said. Myself, good old KR, right? Okay, if you go out and you mean it, whether you're babyface, whether you're heel, and like Carl was saying about Stone Cold, right? You go out, you mean it, and you make people believe. Then you've got them. That's all you need.
You see, Tom, let me just put it this way. You don't need to do a backflip on your entrance to get over.
No, because then you've shot your load.
Exactly. So, like, if you end up doing a backflip on your entrance and then your finishing move is a moonsault, it's totally blown the spot.
Psychology-wise, then it's a bit like the dreamer thing, right? I don't want to be too explicit here, but you build to that crescendo, right? If you start at the crescendo, you've got nowhere to go. All right, start off and let it breathe, right? Let people know who you are. Let everything build up. All right, this is a little bit inside, but this is what you do.
No. There's a lot of people here that are tuned in. A lot of people want to talk to you. So go ahead.
Tom, listen. Like, in terms of like professional wrestling, like people have to believe in that character.
That's it.
So like,
that's it.
So
credibility is everything.
So you know what I mean? Like, Vince McMahon. Taking back to Vince McMahon, people believed he was an idiot. People believed he was an ass.
Turned out you were right.
Listen. And the thing is, hey, listen, Tom, if someone turned around to Vince McMahon and said, "You know what, Vince? People hate you," do you know what he'd say to that? I like
He'd probably shit on the head.
He probably would, to be honest. But listen, it's just an example.
I think
what I'm trying to say is like, for example, when I used to work like a heel, was like a bad guy. You know, I wanted everybody to love me. I wanted everybody to look in my eyes and think, you know what, you're an idiot. I don't like you. You know, you see, in terms of like with wrestling, like obviously, like, you know, a lot of like young ones like wrestling, you know, they want like the good guys to win the match. They want good guys to, you know, to make the bad guy look like an idiot, that kind of thing. Where like for me, it was more of like I wanted to make the good guy look like an idiot, but he ended up turning it back on me, and he made me look like an idiot. So that was kind
the
of
heel's
thing.
always going to take the L, right?
The heel tells
cool heel.
The
it doesn't
heel
work on the indies.
Listen, the heel tells a story, but the babyface outcomes it. And the thing is, it's like, you know, like in terms of wrestling, like I can go on about, you know, I can go about what I'm saying.
Well, I just want you to hold on to that though, because a lot of people want to comment, and
Sure.
Let's hear the people.
I really want people to say hi. Let me run through. I got a lot of comments. I'm gonna go shotgun. He cosplays JR in the mirror.
Oh, it's Gamer, dude! It's 99!
JR, there he is. He's there. Yep. He's got a bunch of comments. I was a wrestler at UKW a long time ago. Made me hate wrestling and quit forever. He also said here, J-Ro's here, by the way. Hello, J-Ro. J-Ro, I was disrespected so hard at UKW. The shows I was in never made it to DVD, whereas the rest would in training. I was used as a tackle dummy, was always bullied, and not in the fun wrestling. Well, I want to say this, Gamer Dude, if you ever want to come on Sportswire and talk about that, hit me up. Give me that stuff on Sportswire.
Oh, man.
I will bring you on to Sportswire. Message me. I'm on Facebook at Tom Bryce. If you want to talk about it, tell the world. We definitely want to hear it. So I want to put that out there. He also wants to point out and say, JR wasn't innocent in wrestling. On commentary with him, he would always turn my microphone off or down to the lowest volume so I couldn't be heard. He also wanted to say,
yeah, he turned down his microphone
on several occasions. Fantastic guy he was. Only time I ever learned anything was with Trav. Rest in peace. I also want to say hello to, again, Mr. Barris. He wanted to know, was Rob Bagwell on the paper that you ripped up?
Oh, yeah, it was Rob Bagwell.
I think I mentioned that.
Rob Bagwell. All right. You dirty bastard, right? All right. I don't want to get Phil Hoban in here. Predator exposure. Coming here. Section 24A. Right? This guy deal with you. But I'll deal with you right now. Rob Bagwell. All right. You piped up for some reason. I was just trying to have a little bit of fun with it. The Ensor kids, right? You know how I do it. I just have a little bit of fun. Okay. Listen, there's no particular malice intended, but somehow you found yourself into my orbit, Mr. Rob Bagwell. I've got to say this. I've found out a lot. And I as far as it goes, Rob Barris, right? The big cheeser. James Barris. Wait. James Barris, the big cheeser, Rob Bagwell. Okay. There's 2 out of 3 that I like. James Barris and Rob and the big cheeser, they're top guys. Okay. They hold it down. They're family men. All right, they respect family values. CCW is all about family values. I feel like they were judged unfairly. I feel like I tried to mention before, that in professional wrestling, we're too quick to be reactionary. We're too quick to castigate people and write them off. We shouldn't, because if people have got worth, and especially if people are doing it for the right reasons, we need to embrace that, okay? And whether or not we need to, we need to help them out. Hey, listen, I'll go down to CCW, and not to say I'm anything. I'm nothing. I never did anything, but I learned some stuff and I listened to some smart people, and I got myself in shape. And I'm willing to go down to CCW, and I'm willing to throw my lot in with those boys because they're real ones. They're the real thing. Rob Bagwell, as far as I'm concerned, he's out there, right? Buff Bagwell for a shoot put me over on Twitter and was nice, and because it's finished the blockbuster, I did it, and I did it out of respect. All right, and I messaged him, and I loved a bit of Buff Daddy. I know he's had his troubles. I loved a bit of Buff Daddy back in the day.
Yeah, he
right?
was a good character. He was good in the
was a
ring.
great character.
Solid ring guy. Got a great look. Yeah, he was
He had a
good
great
character.
look. He had the charisma, and
Yep.
you know what? He
And the
could come
girls
out there.
loved him, by the way. The women loved him.
The women loved him. The women loved this guy. Well, one woman
I
in
could see
particular.
that. I could certainly see
loves this
why.
guy. He's a
Right.
handsome devil. He's my best mate.
Right.
All right.
I'll just say quickly. Hang on a minute, 1 second. Just turn that a little bit that way.
I bet you taking me out of shot.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to. But listen, so Mr. Bryce, I did actually notice that there was a certain person that was tuning in on the Sportswire radio this evening, and I don't know why.
This is where the drinking game, because 99 is going to get mentioned.
Well, first of all, he's not 99.
He's on
He is. Let me put it this way. I'll just say one thing, right? And listen. I'm just saying one thing. Listen, right? There's a guy who used to wrestle at UKW, right? And they called him Ajax, and he was a man without fear. And
No fear.
listen, and let me put it this way, my brother. I will say one thing, is that he tried so hard to get to where he wanted to be in professional wrestling. And I will be honest.
Did he have a match?
The owner, yeah. Listen, the owner of the company stopped that from happening. And that was the guy what you teared up right in Sportswire guy's face. Right? Listen, Tom Bryce, Ajax is the guy who
is a cleaning product.
No, listen. Ajax is one of my best friends.
He's a good man.
He is a good guy. He's one of my best friends, and Ajax deserved more in professional wrestling. He did. And I know you're getting a bit excited there.
No.
But he is a good friend to me.
Game dude.
And
he's a good guy.
And the thing is, he deserved more in professional wrestling.
He did.
And the thing is, this is where I go back to Jonathan Sedgwick not giving the opportunity towards that man, because he deserved more, because he was there at the training center.
Yep.
You know, Ajax trained. He worked really hard, and he
I love that your reason for him wanting more is
he did. He worked really hard. He worked really hard, and
my mum could have been there.
Listen, he worked really hard, and he deserved more than what he got. And the thing is, it was a bit like myself, you know, like
you genuinely deserve more.
I did deserve more.
You were entertaining as hell, like the Reverend Bryce.
So James Barris is listening, by the way. James Barris, you want to rectify something? You want to bring two guys who clearly know how to be able to introduce themselves to a crowd. You want to bring two guys in who clearly have minds for the business. Oh, by the way, would certainly give a run for the money of the many people you have in your roster. These are the guys I'd bring in.
Wait,
shut up!
Shut up! Right,
he said that to me once on commentary. He went, "Shut up!"
Listen, Tom Bryce. One thing I will say, I've got a lot of I've got a lot of respect for Ajax, and he deserved more in the wrestling world. And that's one thing I will say. Now, listen. At the end of the day, you know, like in terms of wrestling itself, like sometimes you try and, you know, you try and make something mean something. It's like as if you want more. You want more. You want more, right? You want to grasp the grasping. You want to grasp it, and you want to clench it in your hands, right? And the thing is, like with wrestling itself, you want to grab it, and you want to grab it, and you want to make it mean something, right? Tom Bryce, you want to make it mean something. You want to, right? And I'll tell you something else, Tom. I'll tell you something else. You know, wrestling itself, I'll be honest, I stopped doing it. And you know why I stopped doing it? Because there were a lot of people that used to sit in trap one and used to fight it all out.
What?
Right? I'll tell you quickly.
What the hell is trap one?
Trap one is where my toilet works. But anyway, listen, Tom Bryce, listen, and this is where I was going back to Ajax. You see, Chris, listen.
Drum roll, please.
Right, okay, drum roll. Right, listen. So
My God.
Ajax was in ring. He was. So listen. He's had a bit too much to drink.
Oh my God.
It's a Friday night. It's a Friday night.
Oh my God.
Tom Bryce, in terms of in ring, Ajax was good. He was good, and he was professional, and he did what he needed to do to get the.
You didn't even have a match.
That's because of Jonathan Sedgwick. Sorry, get our bit of hand now. Jonathan, listen.
He loves it. He knows.
Listen. The thing is, right? He's gone now. Thank goodness me. He's had a bit too much to drink, but I'll just tell you quickly. Tom Bryce Ajax is my brother, and I care a lot about the guy. And he was treated badly, and at the end of the day, he was treated badly. And this is the reason why I wanted to come on this podcast tonight, because in terms of wrestling, the good people was treated the wrong way. Now, listen, you see, in terms of like, I watched Ajax wrestle, and in terms of in the ring, he was good, but he was never given the opportunity, and that was where I wanted to go back. So you can ask the questions for Ajax.
Well, I wanted to run through the comments here real quick because I got a lot of people that wanted to.
I swear, I want to hear it.
Come and watch the show this Saturday. I think isn't it next Saturday, CCW? But want to say hello to my buddy Craven Rage out going to wrestle tomorrow in Iowa. Thank you, Craven, for your support. He was the ruler of the yard at WCE. So I want to congratulate the winner of the Big Man of the Year award in DBW. Also, he was, I think, most improved wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. Big Tex, how you doing, Big Tex? I apologize if I got the award. He's a big man, by the way, and he's from the state of Pennsylvania. So that would be an interesting conversation to have. J-Rome wants to say, I had Ricky Knight Jr. the night you guys had the Knight brothers. Quality talent. Yep, definitely. I think maybe it was decided to Ricky
Anybody that comes out of the Knight family, anything like that. Hey, listen, I saw Soraya in there, right? This is a quick anecdote for you, right? Soraya Knight, that's Paige's mother.
Yep.
Right? The girl that she was wrestling, there's a bit inside about the planning of a match. Okay, you have a conversation before. I never really had to have too much of a conversation, but people do. And the girl that she was wrestling actually ran away from planning the match. And the thing is with Soraya Knight, she was so nice. She was such a nice lady, but she was so credible in the ring that the girl actually ran away from planning the match. So that tells you everything you need to know about Soraya Knight. She was obviously Soraya now. She wrestles under a shoot name, which she was named after her mother's working name. Was Paige.
Wow.
But yeah. But Soraya reminded me of just so credible in the ring, and she looked like she wanted to rip your face off. I actually want to work Soraya as well because she was that physically. I hate intergender wrestling. I think it. I honestly, I don't hate it, but I dislike it strongly. And I would have wrestled Soraya Knight because she was so believable in the ring. So there you go.
Okay, well, let me run through a lot of comments here in Shotgun.
Please.
He mentioned Ric Flair as an example of somebody that has a personal emotion as well. Our diehard fans in CCW sing the songs when they come out. I have seen that also. It's got to be embarrassing for a wrestler to come out and only get one cheer while the rest of the crowd is dead, and that one cheer is from their mother or something. Sounds like some NSAW people, right? Oh, Jules, love that comment. Jules, how you doing? Good to see you.
How
back
you doing, Jules?
My ultimate hate is when they kick out of 2 on the first pin of a clothesline. Yeah, I couldn't agree
Are
with
you
you more on that.
messaging gamer dude?
Kicking out on a 2 count to the international high. Yeah, totally agreed on that. KR says that, but once he pied someone in the face, which I think we spoke about. You
It was a
pieing.
great match.
It was. Listen, Tom Bryce.
Yes.
Tom. I just want to say one thing very quickly. I have actually received a message from Ajax.
Oh, well, let's read it off on the air. What would Ajax like for you to read off?
So Ajax's message, and he's put, for the laughs, mention the room. I can't.
Let me see.
Listen, let me read it. Right, Tom Bryce, here we go. So this is what this is what Ajax has put. Okay, so he's put the laughs. Mention the Rumble when I was with you in. Rumble. I was in with you. If you want, where you will upload me. So basically, what Ajax is saying is that we was in.
That was my first match.
Yeah. It was in the summer of 2014, and it was a Rumble match. And Ajax was supposed to stay until the end, and I low-blowed him and eliminated him. Now, that was my bad. It was my fault. I do apologize. But Ajax was supposed to win.
Did you low-blow for a shoot?
I did. And I shouldn't have done. And it was my fault. And Ajax was supposed to win that match. And Ajax was supposed to go on for the UKW Heavyweight Championship. I do remember that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah,
Who was the UKW Heavyweight Champion?
I don't know.
Was it Val? Tom Bryce, have you ever heard of Val Cabius?
Yeah, I've heard very briefly. Yes, I've heard the name in passing.
Val Cabius. And I say this as a bad man, right? Val Cabius is terrifying.
Well, you said he's terrifying, considering your muscles, sir, considering your tattoos, considering your look. Yeah, then you know what? I'm going to say that they're really terrifying.
I'll be honest, right? The most valuable killer. He was on WWE's radar for a while. He didn't get in. He told us that he didn't get in because he went up to John Cena and he went. I believe him as well because I struggle to disbelieve Val. And the look, right, muscled up to hell, right, legit gangster. He went up to John Cena and John Cena was like, expect him to be deferential because you should be deferential, I guess, with wrestling hierarchy. And he went up to John Cena and went, yeah, bro, I'm Val, bro. And Val Cabius is a legend in British wrestling because he is. If you want to
snip my hat, bro.
Yeah. If you had to, right? Okay, Carl mentioned about legitimacy, right?
It was not good.
If you had to bottle legitimacy, right, and serve it to people, you would serve Val Cabius. The guy was for real. Okay, to the point where he did 10 years in prison, right?
Oh wow!
And there's a company called Rise. I don't know if you know about this, bro.
Yeah, I heard of Rise.
You know Rise. I tried to get booked on Rise, and you know. They didn't want me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Perhaps because I don't know. I think I ended my match where the Rise guys were on commentary. I think I was wrestling Radu, and I said F Rise, but I was working. You understand? I was working.
How much are you getting paid for?
Nothing.
You weren't getting paid, not so work. You were volunteering.
I was volunteering.
Were you volunteering for Rise?
Community service. It was.
I see Rise.
Which motion were you talking about?
I see Rise PP Dub. I see Rise.
PP. You want to see my PP? PP Dub.
So Terminator 2 girl, right? I've got something to say about Terminator 2 girl.
Laser eyes.
Listen to me about Terminator 2 girl. Terminator 2 girl, yeah? I love you more than life. Okay, you have made me complete. And Terminator 2 girl happens to be my wife.
Oh, well, how you doing? Thank you for letting.
And for you, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the 3 words you want me to say, and that is "Let's go, Brandon, baby."
Hey!
You know what's coming up, FJB? Hey, let's go, Brandon, baby. Don't treat me like a woman. Treat me like China. All right,
You know who that
Carl.
person is, KR? You know who that person is?
There is cheering from downstairs because in the bottom of the UKW control center there is our women.
Listen. Let me just Tom Bryce. Let me just explain quickly.
Muffins.
Listen. Let me just explain quickly. You see, China back in the day, fantastic.
We love China.
You know, we remember they don't treat me like a woman, don't treat me like a man. We know all about China, don't we? But you see, I had a little bit of the how can I put it, the China, you know, the China kind of, you know, fear factor in me.
Oh my.
And the thing is, I remember. Yeah. Listen. I remember like when I first came to UKW, I had the fear.
No more UKW.
Listen. I had the fear factor. You see, when I got there, you know, I felt like, you know, I wanted something that was never given to me. And, you know, I wanted something where I felt like I wanted more. Right?
What the hell are you yelling about?
So listen. I wanted, Mr. Tom Bryce, listen. So I wanted to be the man in professional wrestling. But you know what Jonathan Sedgwick did to me? You know, I wanted to be the main event man. I wanted to be the measuring stick. I wanted to be the number one man in UK wrestling history. And you know why I wasn't that man? Shall I tell you? I'll tell you right sweet. And it's with a first class stamp. I'll tell you. The reason why I wasn't given the chance was because I was put behind a commentary desk. And I was calling the action.
You're good at that.
You know, yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate the fact that I'm good at calling the action. But you know what? I wanted to be more in the ring. Whoa. I wanted to be more in the squared circle. But you know what? I never had the opportunity. Tom Bryce, I never had the chance to get in the ring and dance with the biggest name in the industry of this business. I never had the opportunity to go one-on-one with the biggest man in UK wrestling history. And can I just tell you quickly, it doesn't matter now. You know why? Tom Bryce, you know why? It doesn't matter. Let me tell you why it doesn't matter. Because UK wrestling is absolutely nothing. Listen, UK wrestling, Tom Bryce,
please keep it sheath.
UK wrestling is absolutely nothing. Because I'll tell you, Tom Bryce.
Oh, wait a minute.
I tried to make wrestling be something, but in the end, wrestling became nothing. And
well, you know what?
Tom Bryce, listen, shut up, Tom Bryce. I like you. You're a fantastic guy. But now is the time for me to talk and for you to be quiet. Tom Bryce, you know, I wanted to be the main event man so badly. So goddamn badly. That it was taken away from me by one man, Jonathan Sedgwick.
No.
You took that opportunity away from me. And I'll tell you something. UK wrestling.
No.
UK wrestling. I remember UK wrestling. I remember when you became a thing. I remember when you became the number one brand in sports entertainment. But guess what? PPW had a little bit more experience than you. But I will say one thing. Tom Bryce, you're a nice guy.
You're a good guy, man.
You're a good guy. And you know what? All night, you've shown me absolute full respect. But right now, I want you to look into my eyes when I say this, because I'm looking right into your eye pupils. I want your pupils to connect to mine as I say one thing. And one thing is as simple as this. Jonathan Sedgwick, one day, you're going to get your ass. And the thing is, I will tell you one thing.
You're gonna get your ass.
You're gonna get it.
He's just gonna get your ass.
You're gonna get it big time. He's chuckling me. He's making me laugh. But I will say one thing. UK wrestling was a measuring stick to this industry. Tom Bryce, I will take UK wrestling. I will take UK wrestling. I'll screw it up, and I will make war with this. I will screw UKW up, and I will show you exactly what it means. You see, you've got people, Tom Bryce. You've got people like the Jester Jero. Oh, don't get me wrong. I've got nothing. Listen. I've got nothing but respect for the Jester Jero. Nothing. But I will be honest.
You went on about him ages ago.
He is right. I've got no respect for him. But what I will say is one thing is when you're a wrestler, Tom Bryce. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit carried away a minute, and let me just get back into the zone for a minute. 1 second. Let me just find that top button. Yeah, there we go. That's the top button right there. So Tom Bryce, what I was saying to you is like, well, like you come on this talk show and you kind of ask us all the questions, and you always, you kind of say to me like, why are you on here and why is he on here? But I think it's time to do like the roles reverse, and I think it's time for me to ask you a couple of questions now, if that's all right. If that's okay with you.
Go ahead.
So, in terms of like professional wrestling, why do you invest so much in professional wrestling? Like, when you see pro wrestling, why do you see it? What do you think? If someone says to you, "Well, I'm watching Monday Night Raw," what do you instantly think?
Raw, man.
Well, they don't, but you know what I'm saying. But
I watched SmackDown from 2000.
Can I ask you? Why? It does actually. It does. Attitude Era was fantastic. I mean,
well, I watch it on your WWE network.
You do actually, yeah.
I actually get the WWE network.
Tom Bryce, I subscribe to WWE network. He steals it, but you know what? It's fine.
No, that makes two of us actually. That makes two of us that steal it.
Yeah,
because I actually get it still.
No,
yeah.
So my question is like, why do you invest in professional wrestling?
I enjoy the competition. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy the entertainment aspect of it, and I enjoy the emotional connection that I have had in it since I've been a kid, pretty much.
Yeah, I get that.
You see, the thing is, it's like, going back to like Necro Daddy right here, aka Chris Levett. He's had.
Hello, I'm still here.
It's still here. Hey, the thing is,
wait a minute.
I thought I'd just change a little bit of scenery here. No, I'm
You're like about to storm the Capitol.
Yeah, I'm only joking. You see, Tom Bryce, I know we've had a little bit of a kind of an in-depth to kind of conversation about professional wrestling, but
broken it down. I feel like we've answered all questions.
But the thing is, one thing I will say is two words, right?
Suck it.
Not quite. It's not quite. It's two words, and that is Tom Bryce. Look at me when I say this.
Stop telling him look.
Don't drink that stupid drink. Look at me. He's got it. Look at me when I say this, right? Tom Bryce, thank you so much.
Thank you
for letting me listen. It's my time to talk, not yours.
Oh shit! Oh right? No!
Look at me, Tom Bryce. Thank you so much for letting me tonight be a part of Sportzwire Radio. Yeah. It means a lot. And the thing is, like,
it's fun.
Necro Daddy, Chris Levett, he was saying to me, before we came on the air tonight, that this guy, Tom Bryce, he looks up to you as a good person. And you know what? That's all I ask for. All I ask for is for somebody to look up to me, to say to me, you know what? Thank you so much for being the guy what's delivered the statement. And I know. And the thing is, we've had a good night and I've enjoyed it.
We've had so much fun.
Before I go any further, I just want to say one thing is going back to my wrestling days, I'm not going to say anything negative about Jonathan Sedgwick. I'm just going to say one thing. After all that, I'm just going to say one thing, is that it's a shame, and I hope at some point Mr. Sedgwick tunes into this, but it's a shame that our friendship didn't work out the way it was supposed to work out. And the
Can you
thing
put
is,
over your missus? Look.
oh, well, sorry, I do apologise. I do have Mr. Tom Bryce. I do have a fantastic missus.
He does.
And let me put it this way.
Thank you for tuning in, by the way.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. But listen, Tom, the thing is, I'm nearly 30 years old. I've nearly been on this planet nearly 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And
old.
I'm an old-ass man now. I've got grey in my beard.
He's not 25-year-old
right here. But the thing is, it's like, my missus has supported me so much throughout my day. Throughout the last 3 years. Yeah, she's supported me. And you know what? She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I thank my missus for that. And you know what? She's made me a better person, because she's actually said to me, and I'm going to be deadly serious, she's actually said to me the words that, you know what? I don't think wrestling's for you. And the key behind that is the fact that of how much negativity I've had through the years that I've been in the sport. So I'm listening to my missus, and that's the way I'm going forward. So it's just a way. But the thing is, at the same time, it's like, it's in terms of wrestling. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, there's been times where I've wanted to kick someone else's ass.
Oh yeah,
I've wanted to beat the shit out of somebody.
Do an aerodynamic crash.
I've wanted, what? I'll be honest. I've walked up to the first guy I've seen, and I want to fucking put that guy on the ground. Sorry, sorry for swearing.
Yeah, and I was a bit confused.
I'm just getting a bit. I'm getting a bit hectic.
I was a bit confused as to why he felt that way about me.
No, sorry. But
I was like,
Tom
we just
Bryce,
go to the gym, man.
Tom. What puts me about professional wrestling is like this: is you've got these people that come into the ring with no physique, with no gimmick, with no gear, with nothing. And that's what makes it embarrassing. You see, okay, Tom, I'm going to say right now, right, I'll be honest, I couldn't do a backflip. I couldn't really jump off the top rope and hit a big splash or a big elbow. I couldn't do all these fancy moves.
He was underrated,
man. But I will say one thing.
Beat the shit out of him.
When I did wrestle, I was underrated.
100% underrated.
I was underrated. When I got in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Never got the shot as him.
When I got in the ring and I beat someone else's ass, it looked like a beating.
Sometimes mine. One time.
Sometimes.
Hey, like we wrestled like camp shows, right? You know what a camp show is?
Dean Allmark used to do a lot of them with All-Star Wrestling. I know Dean Allmark very well.
Brian Danielson came over and did holiday camp shows in Butlins and that.
Yep.
And there were a style. Okay, pro wrestling's many styles, right? You can have the most violent thing in the world, and then you can have the "shall I get him" style of a camp show, right? It's pantomime. It's fun. It's distraction for kiddies. And me and him wrestled a lot on camp shows. And one time he blacked my eye on a camp show, which sometimes you work super safe on the camp shows, right?
Can I just explain?
Yeah,
quickly?
please.
Now, I will say one thing. And it goes quite like this.
What the hell have you got?
Don't worry, bro. I've got this. Now, Mr. Tom Bryce, I've not actually had the honour to wrestle on this show. But the one thing I will say is that, in a way, I know you're going to be surprised when I say this, but in a way, I do have respect for this show. And that is Blackheart Wrestling.
No!
Right? Well, there we go, Blackheart Wrestling. Now listen,
James,
now
Lawrence,
can I just
very
say
good
quickly,
people.
right? And I'm going to tell you straight away, right? Lawrence, James, brilliant people. They've got good, they've got good charisma and they've got good knowledge, right? Fantastic. Listen, fantastic in terms of like, you know, mentality behind wrestling. Good, right? The only thing I would say is, and I don't want to feel like I'm like, you know, kind of like nitpicking or anything like that, because I'm not trying to nitpick, but like, you know, in terms of doing like, so first of all, I mean, Necro Daddy, I hope you agree with me on this one, but like, it's like going back to, you know, doing their like YouTube matches, like with no audience, you know, the key behind a wrestling match is you need an audience, right? And the thing is, these guys might look at me now and think, well, you know what, I don't care. I'm not bothered. I'll do what I want to do. And that's fine. But I'm just saying it as like, you know, I mean, I don't think that's a valid opinion.
I think it's a valid point.
But like, if you're doing your shows, you want to do it with an audience, because then you can interact with the audience as you're going forward.
About the energy.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you come out to the ring and you've got no audience. Who are you actually performing in front of? Nobody.
Exactly. Who can you make a connection with if nobody's there?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
So the thing is, and like I said, going back to like Lawrence and James, like in terms of knowledge, I do not take anything away from them guys. The guys have got great knowledge. Yeah. Apart from James Rutherford, who said that they've got like 20 people in a Royal Rumble and they've got 30 gimmicks.
He was in the gym.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I would say.
He was trying to get that Battle Royal, and Jester Jero had like 3 gimmicks, which Jester Jero's a nice guy, but I mean, this guy, he deserves a shot. He deserved a shot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Jester Jero, nice guy. Good guy.
I've interviewed him. I interviewed him about a year and changing.
He is. In terms of,
I think he's a very nice guy.
In terms of heart, he's a good guy.
But Spike Dudley wore a t-shirt for a reason, my friend.
He did. And the thing is, like, I'm not taking anything away, and I'm like, obviously, like, end of the day, Jester Jero might tune in and think, you know what, the guy's talking a lot of rubbish, which is fair enough. If you want to think that way, no worries. But in terms of like wrestling, like, and I'll be totally honest, like in terms of watching his promos are, in terms of delivery, is not that bad. In terms of like Jester Jero's promos, his delivery is getting to the point, which is really good. But like what the Necro Daddy Chris Levett said, it's more of maybe putting a t-shirt on in terms of when you wrestle. Now the thing is, he's laughing. If you're a heel and you want to get over that you're a skinny, bony guy, then that's fair enough. But if you're a babyface, showing off something you haven't got is not the way forward, right? So, and the thing is, like, I'll go back to this before, Tom, is like, you know, if you've got your heavyweight champion that weighs about as much as 2 bags of sugar, it doesn't look good.
Perception, you know what I mean? Is reality, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Perception,
you know, if I say, let me put it this way, right? Tom Bryce, right? You've just tuned in. You've just tuned in now. UFC. You've got 2 of the biggest guys. You've got 2 of the biggest guys. You've got this guy here in the corner, this guy in the other corner, and they're going one-on-one, and they're battling each other, right? You're watching that MMA match, yeah? And they've got these big muscles, yeah? And they're evenly matched. You're thinking to yourself instantly, like this is a 50-50 kind of split.
Yep.
Who's going to win?
Yep.
In terms of like Jester Jiro, and again, no disrespect towards the guy.
No.
Listen, the guy, in terms of like personality, I think the guy's sound, right? But
yeah, he was a good interview. When I had him, he was a good talker. He was a solid conversation. I
definitely a good talker.
No,
now listen. So it's like
no, not you guys. No way.
You've got someone like the Jester Jiro going up against someone like the Necro Daddy in the terms of a shoot. No disrespect to Jiro, nice guy, but the Necro Daddy. Let me ask you the question: Who, in terms of a legit shoot,
Necro Daddy's gonna kick J-Ro's ass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it was just like when he was here. I'm actually gonna, politely. When he was here, he was promoting a tag team match, and it was Joel Cobra and Dave Douglas were in the match. If you've seen Joel Cobra in a shoot fight, Joel Cobra and J-Ro Lewis, who do you think would win?
Well, let me just put it this way.
You're not Joel Cobra.
Let me show you this way.
And you know who his father was, by the way, as a shoot? That just all I have to say is if you see the two of them together, that's what you'll put up.
You gotta like what Carl's saying, right? Credibility is everything. If you like, I was talking to the best heel going right now is Nathan Black in pro wrestling. Okay, and I were talking to him and the wrestler who can't be named in the group chat, and it's the wrestler who can't be named, Ellis.
Oh, Ellis Barker.
Yeah.
You mean the guy that tried to get a
what the hell is this?
I think
you mean the guy
laptop.
You mean Ellis Barker? Ellis Barker's the guy that tried to get a photo of Kevin Thorne when he won a mark.
Yep. That was
Radu. Radu says, my missus covered Dunkel Height by Bursum, and she, my missus got me into black metal. And
wow.
Yeah, because like I said, I discovered a lot of things because of my wife, not least true love. But let's move on. But what we're saying before that,
I have no idea.
Basically, that there has to be a believability in a world champion.
Believability is everything, right? Okay, well, we're talking with the wrestler who can't be named, and Nathan Black is that.
I'm going to be now. Let me just explain. The person that can't be named is Ellis Barker.
No, he's not.
Right? Let me just explain.
Can't be named, though. Can't be named.
Right. Tom Bryce. Let me just explain quickly.
John Nelson didn't want us to mention him either.
Yeah, listen. Ellis Barker, right? I don't know if you don't know the guy, but I will say one thing, right?
He's writing his name on graffiti in the wall.
He is. but he is one hell of a talent. And I will say one thing.
He's one of the best people I've met.
And as a friend, I fell out with a lot of wrestling people because they did.
Out with?
I'm not going to mention names.
No, come on, man. This is a shoot interview.
Listen, I fell out with a lot. Tom Bryce. I fell out with a lot of people because
did you fall out with Matt Splash?
Ooh, but listen. So I fell out with a lot of people because Ellis means a lot to me. He's a good friend.
He's a good man.
And
I love Ellis.
Absolutely love Ellis. And the thing is, Ellis had a lot of talent, and he still does. He still does have a lot of talent. And the certain people didn't give him the opportunity that he deserved.
Sedgwick.
And that was what annoyed me a little bit. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's probably happy where he is now. He's wrestling for True Grit Wrestling. I mean, let me put it this way. Just 1 second.
No,
you see, True Grit Wrestling is good, but it's not quite Red Dead Redemption. But it's good. But it's you see. let me just say quickly. You see, True Grit Wrestling is okay, but here's one thing I will say: if you're gonna come up with a wrestling promotion, come up with your own stuff. You see, Rockstar have made so many £1,000 on Red Dead Redemption, so we don't need True Grit Redemption. We don't need that. You need to come up with your own stuff. You've come up with Rockstar's own logo. You've come up with True Grit Redemption. people are going to look at that and think, well, I'm not interested. You need to come up with your own stuff. You know,
Come on,
you see,
we might try to get booked there.
Oh, let me just say something quickly. You see, sorry, Tom Bryan. I'm just telling you how I feel.
No.
In terms of wrestling, right? If you come up with your own stuff, you become unique. If you come up with stuff what has been stolen from somebody that's made thousands of pounds, you make yourself look like an idiot.
More than thousands of pounds.
Yep. So in terms of right now, True Grit Wrestling, I'm not saying that you guys are idiots. All I'm saying is that True Grit Wrestling Redemption, I'll be honest, is crap. It's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, and title's crap as well.
No, listen, it's crap. And you know why it's crap?
Why?
Well, let me sorry, I don't need to go on. I'm just giving you my opinion here on this one. Come up with your own stuff. You know, True Grit Redemption, that sounds like a good event. But don't steal Rockstar's gimmick that's made so much money on certain things. Like, think how much money GTA's made. Think how much money Red Dead Redemption's made.
Yep.
You know, don't bring up stuff like that because you make yourself look like an idiot. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to ramp on a little bit here, but what I'm saying is that I'm trying to put up my I'm trying to
wait. The man without fear has commented.
I stole that from Daredevil. Even use the Man Without Fear entrance music.
What do you think about the Man Without Fear?
Listen, I will say one thing, bro.
The best in the world, man.
I will say one thing, right? And I'll just tell you this one thing quickly. Is that Tom Bryce? I know you might hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it.
I'll go for it.
Tom Bryce, I have nothing but respect for Ajax. He's a good lad, right?
He's a good man.
He is. But listen, I'm not talking right now. I'm not talking about Ajax. What I'm talking about is that True Grit Wrestling, come up with your own idea. Don't steal things off something what's made thousands of pounds, right? Red Dead Redemption, GTA, Rockstar, they've made thousands, millions of pounds, right? If they see your wrestling show, they're going to think, oh, hang on a minute. That's just Red Dead Redemption. It's not True Grit Redemption. Use your own thing. Don't steal things off other people, right? Because it's going to make you look stupid, right? I'm not trying to say that to be an idiot. I mean, Ellis Barker, I've got a lot of respect for the guy.
Man can't be named.
He is a man that can't be named. Unfortunately, on my show, he can be named. But listen, Ellis Barker's a good wrestler. He's got a lot of talent in ring.
Joe Nelson too.
Listen, he's that good. He sacked my 30th birthday do off because he wanted to wrestle for this stupid True Grit Wrestling show. Which, let's be honest, he's not going to get anywhere like he have for the last 5-6 years.
Come on, man.
No, listen, he hasn't.
Can't be named.
Listen, he hasn't. Listen. Nobody. Listen, the guy's got talent, but the thing is, that's why I play darts, because when I play darts, right, I get recognized and I earn money. But you see, he likes wrestling, but gets nothing but abuse and a taxi driver. That's all he gets. He gets to be the North Wrestling taxi driver. That's not good. Being a professional wrestler, you should not be taxi driving in people around like Liam Lazarus and all them people. You should be out there doing what you need to do. That's basically how I'm saying it. But listen,
I want to ask you guys a question before we move on to closing thoughts. And obviously this has been a black heart of an interview. It's been
what the hell has been.
You might want to say, because I could see obviously that the misses are having a great time and everybody else, but we definitely want to see a round 2 with you guys. And the reason we want to see a round 2, now obviously, you guys have accomplished a lot. You've had obviously a lot you've done in the ring. But you've done a lot tonight on Sportzwire Radio. Now, gentlemen, I know you've obviously had some different things in the ring that maybe or outside the ring that you've spoke about and went through that maybe didn't go the way that you liked. But I'm thinking about it here because a lot of people are tuned in. A lot of people are tuned in. They want to see a round two. But I was wondering, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, fans of yours, family, friends, what do you think about the next time the two of yous going into a little thing called the Sportswire Radio's Hall of Fame?
Oh, do you know what? You just said the words Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, Hall
I'll
of
be
Fame.
honest. Tom Bryce, you're a nice guy, but I fell asleep throughout the whole of that interview. But listen.
You didn't.
I did.
Yes, you were talking.
I did.
90%.
Listen.
That was the Tommy Dillon interview you guys listened to. That was the one you fell asleep. But this one.
Tom Bryce, you mentioned the words Hall of Fame. Right. So all the other stuff you mentioned, I'll be honest, it went in this ear and out the other.
Oh my God.
But the Hall of Fame stayed in there. So all I want to say is, Tom Bryce, is thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, listen. Thank you from the heart. From the heart itself. Thank you so much.
Don't disrobe.
Thank you for being.
No, stop
Thank
it.
you so much for letting me be on Sportswire Radio.
No.
It means the world.
No,
and I'll tell you something. I'm ready. I'm ready for some fire.
Fire!
I'm ready. And listen.
Shout out.
Listen.
Sparks.
Tom Bryce, it means the world to let me be a part of Sportswire Radio. It really does. Because
we love you, man.
At the end of the day, the one thing I will say to you, right, and I know we've had a good laugh tonight, and we spoke about UKW, we've spoke about Ajax.
99.
It's not 99.
Why?
But we spoke about Jester Jero and his bony arms. We've spoke about Shelby Sinai. We don't talk about.
Hey, come on.
We spoke about all sorts, right? But the one thing I will say is thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom Bryce.
Tom Bryce, thank you. And listen,
we appreciate it.
Listen, Tom, and do you know what? This is deep, right?
Yeah.
Look in my eyes when I say this. This is deep, right? Thank you so much for letting me be a part of Sportswire Radio. It means the absolute world. And listen, I've got respect for this guy right here. But you know what? I've got respect for you, my friend. Listen, let me put it this way. You'll never let a red heart go black. Okay? You are absolutely fantastic. In every way, shape, or form, you will never let a black heart go black. Okay?
I still want to get booked on black heart.
So you don't want to get booked on black heart. It's rubbish. So listen, what I'm saying is, right, is going back to professional wrestling itself. In terms of wrestling, people in the audience need to believe in the crowd. Listen, they need to believe. They don't want to believe about Sammy Blue, who's running around in his stupid pants.
I'm surprised you even know that is.
They don't want to run around. They don't want to see like the Jester Jero, nice guy, brilliant guy. Don't get me wrong, in personality. But you see, Tom Bryce. Just quickly before we go off, can I ask you a question?
Oh,
say like at work, I've got this guy called Big Daz, who is an absolute powerhouse. He's a monster. He does 75 kg dumbbells for shoulder reps.
We're gonna work out with Big Daz next Saturday.
You know, if Jester Jero came along and worked out with us, is he going to throw? Listen, my question is he going to throw out the 75 kg dumbbells?
That's it. That's a question. $1 million question.
He's going to throw himself out by trying. He's not going to be able to hang with you guys. He could lift 7.5 kgs maybe.
7.5 exactly. Or maybe 7.5 grams.
He's a good guy.
He's all right guy.
I was trying to be diplomatic.
But you see, this is where my point goes back to. Listen, this is where my point goes back to like professional wrestling. You know, to be a wrestler, You've got to look like a wrestler for the crowd to believe you're a wrestler.
Right, man.
Right? No disrespect to like Sammy Blue and Jester Jero.
Good guys.
I'm sure they're nice guys.
Very good guys.
If I was in the audience and I saw them guys, I'd be thinking my girlfriend, Perry, would kick their ass every day, night and day, right? My girlfriend's a tough cookie. Listen.
She got a fierce side, man.
She has. Listen, my girlfriend is a tough cookie.
She's
right?
tough.
And at the end of the day, she'd beat their asses half to death, right? And what I'm trying to say is that doesn't make you look good when you say that a woman is going to kick my ass, right?
Woman kicks me ass every day, but I'm married.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Tom Bryce, when you go to wrestle, you've got one outcome. And the outcome is to one, get the crowd over, and two, you go to war, right? And at the end of the day, I'll tell you now, and you're looking at me, you look to be falling asleep, so open your eyes, sunshine. Let me just tell you something, Tom Bryce.
Sunshine.
The reason why I left wrestling was because people did not believe in what I delivered, right? And what I delivered to that sport was a first-class stamp in a beatdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I used to go in that ring, I used to kick everyone else's ass that used to step in front of me. I used to be the biggest man. I used to be the man that used to set the example of why I was the number one man in professional wrestling, right? You see Jake Carnage, who sat right next to me. Yeah, he can lift some weights. He can throw a couple of dumbbells round. Yeah, okay. You know, he probably could squat me on his shoulders. But at the end of the day, it only matters to one thing. And the fact of the matter is that all these people that literally can't press a bag of sugar over their arms, right? The fact of the matter is that these guys need to get down to top bodies in Huddersfield, JD gyms in Huddersfield. They need to get down to fitness in Halifax. What they need to do, right? They need to, listen. They need to stop thinking about what they're going to do or what they're going to plan in their next match. They need to get some muscle on them. Because let me put it this way, right? If I walk down a back alleyway, and like I said before, I've got no disrespect for Jester Jero, right? But if I walk down a back alleyway and he walked up to me and he threatened me, right? Yeah, if he threatened me, I'll be honest, I would absolutely rinse him. Okay, I would literally rip him from ear to ear. So listen, Tom Bryce. No, listen, I am not playing games, Tom Bryce. I am ready. Tom Bryce, I am ready.
Carl wrestled Jero and didn't let him get moving.
No, that's true. I didn't let one move. I didn't let one move get in. Listen, Tom Bryce.
I need a piss.
Tom Bryce, listen. In terms of the Jester Jero, in terms of his wrestling ability, in terms of in-ring, he's a good wrestler. But in terms of matching up to someone who actually has a wrestling physique, the man needs to train a bit more. And I'm not being disrespectful towards Jester Jero in that respect. I'm sure the man has got a lot of talent. I mean, let's be honest. He's got he had the UKW title one time. But, like, what I'm trying to say is that, Tom, Mr. Sportswire guy, when you look at me in the eyes, when you look at me, do you think that I can actually, like, get in the ring and believe that I can beat someone's ass?
Yes, I could.
Yeah?
I could. Yeah.
When you look at the Necro Daddy, do you think that when he gets in the ring, he could kick someone's ass?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No disrespect to, like, the Jester Jero. I want you to be honest opinion. when he steps in the ring and he plays with the big guys, do you really think he can kick someone's ass?
No.
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 Right?
No.
And that's not me being disrespectful towards the Jester J-Ro. I'm sure the guy, I mean, I've met the guy, he's a nice guy. And in terms of talent, he's a good talent, right? But in terms of shape, do me a favor, pal. Go to Primark, put a t-shirt on. People don't want to see your bony ass body. Listen, people don't want to see that skinny ass skeleton.
Man, I want some tea.
Listen, people don't want to see these skinny ass skeleton. People want to see real wrestlers. Right?
Why would Joe get
People
again?
people want to see when you come into professional wrestling. Tom Bryce, very quick before we go off. When people want to see professional wrestling, do they want to see wrestlers or do they want to see people that have just come out of a children's academy?
They want to see wrestlers.
Exactly. Right. Look at this guy right here. This guy right here. I mean, look at this. This guy, right?
James
He's
Barris,
got
look at that for
abs-
us. James Barris, owner of CCW. You look at that. You see
Yeah,
that's
listen,
a man you need in your company.
Listen,
KR,
Tom
you
Bryce.
see him? That's a man you need in your company.
Tom
Yep.
Bryce, you're yapping on, and I'll be honest, I'm not listening.
No, he's putting me over, man.
Oh, is
Stop
it?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
Oh,
let
sorry,
him put me
man.
over.
My apologies,
He's
Tom
a top
Bryce.
man.
No. Go ahead.
Listen,
Yeah.
Tom Bryce.
Put my ass
Listen,
over. Nobody
I
else
just
did.
want to put this. I'm going to
Run out of
end.
beer.
I'm going to
Run out
end
of
this.
beer.
Well, you gentlemen didn't answer my question before you end. So how about round 2? You become Hall of Famers in the Sportswire Hall of Fame. You guys, how does that sound to the Necro Daddy and Carl Radonovich? How does that sound to you guys being Hall of Famers? I think that'll kind of put to bed some of the past. I know you're obviously getting ready to flex those muscles, flex out those arms. Certainly you might be one of the more stronger Hall of Famers we've had. Well,
Listen.
This guy, man.
Let me just put it this way quickly.
All day,
Right,
brother.
Mrs. Tom Bryce, I'm going to put this right here. Right, wrestling is a man's sport.
It's a man's sport,
Yeah.
baby.
Wrestling is one of them where the character comes out and he inspirationals to the crowd.
That's it.
So the crowd comes out. Sorry. The wrestler comes out and the crowd instantly, just like that, instantly believes in that character that he can win. Look, like I said before, going back to like the Jester J-Ro and that what's that guy called again? That Tommy Blue? Yeah, him as well.
Supersonic.
Hey, like these guys, don't get me wrong, in terms of in-ring, they've got a lot of talent. They know what they're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of believing that they're going to win a game or win a match, it's not possible, right? It's not possible. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, going back to, UKW and going back to, like, Jonathan Sedgwick being the owner of his own promotion and him being the world champion and all this, that, and other. You see, people believe in the character. If you're walking out to the ring and you've got your chow down pants on and you've got your and you've got the damn kick pads.
Kick pads.
Right. And you walk out to the ring and, you're constantly winning matches. If that's your own promotion, really, where does that put you in terms of a wrestling stance?
Zero. Nowhere.
It doesn't.
Nowhere.
Say I have my own promotion and I call it, I don't know, like I just call it backyard messing around wrestling, right?
BMW,
I'm
yeah.
just being honest now.
No.
Right? And I'm the world champion of backyard wrestling, messing around wrestling, right? Okay, so I want to be promoted to like, this big show. So I come up to this guy and I'm like, so okay, dude. So what do you do then? Like, like in terms of like wrestling? Oh yeah, well, I'm the main event of my own promotion. I'm not being funny. That is your promotion. Yeah. You should be putting your guys. Listen, you should be putting your guys as the main event. You should not be putting yourself as the main event because Mark, Can I have my tea? Yeah, he's there. He's heard me. Mark is exactly what it is. Don't be a mark. Don't be an idiot. Support your own guys. Okay? Look, like I said before, Mustafa Khan, much respect for the guy. He's absolutely, I've got nothing but respect for him. Right? But I will be honest, I'm going to show my honest opinion here on this one. Jonathan Sedgwick made Mustafa Khan not look good because he did not have any shine. So, unfortunately,
Reverend Bryce, I think our tea's ready.
I think that it's time to obviously let you guys have that tea. I think it's definitely time to have a round two. I definitely think that round two will be when you guys get inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, whether you agree to it or not, because it is my platform. And I've decided that you guys are certainly very worthy of that. I want people to follow you here on all social media platforms. I also want
Tom Bryce.
Make sure, yep. Before we go ahead.
All I want to say is I've been saying, you know what? I've said this. I want to get this off my chest for so long.
Oh, God.
Right? I want to say this for so long.
He looks naked.
Right? I am going to put this UKW barrister in the toilet.
No!
Yes.
What the toilet?
Well,
But
obviously, enjoy that toilet with that. I'm sure hopefully the toilet paper goes a long way. We hope to see you guys for a round two, and hope that'll be in the Sportswire Hall of Fame.
No,
this is
Sportswire.
Yep. Well, I'm going to say thank you guys very much for your time.
Tom Bryce, let me just explain quickly. Mr. Tom Bryce, you always, listen, you like to talk the talk, and I can tell by looking at your hairstyle, you like to walk the walk. But I will say one thing, is thank you so much.
Oh, come on, let's
thank you so much for having us on Sportswire Radio.
Thank you, Mr. Reverend Bryce. We love you, man.
We love you guys, too. Everybody follow these guys on Instagram. And James Harris, take a good look at these guys, because these could be the guys that are going to bring you even more followers, more ratings, and certainly be in the business of selling tickets and getting wrestlers that could certainly be where you want to further continue to grow our beloved Colory Community Wrestling. If you're on Sportswire Radio, I'll be back here later tonight. Follow these guys. If you're on YouTube for the first time, hit that sub button for me at Sportswire Radio 6579. There will be a round two with these guys into our Hall of Fame. Until then, thank you so much to everybody. Ajax, definitely message me anytime you want to come on the platform and share your experiences. You're welcome to. Tribal Cheese, thank you as always. Everybody else out there, thank you to your missus, my buddy Big Tex. Thank you for tuning in. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is where all wrestling matters in Sportswire Radio. I'll see everybody in a little